Dr. Kyle here with Movement Mentor, and today we're going to figure out really how to start properly stabilizing the shoulder blade in order to protect your shoulder. All right, now when we talk about the shoulder, there's a whole bunch of muscles going into it. Really, the anatomy is the most complex joint in the body, the shoulder, because it is also the most mobile, which means we need to stabilize it to protect it, and it all starts with the shoulder blade. So when we talk about the shoulder blade, the muscles, really the main muscles surrounding it that are going to play into its role, into its movement, are going to be your upper traps, your middle traps, and your lower traps, right? It's going to be your levator scapula, which is up through here. It's going to be your rhomboids as well, and your serratus muscle. Now, when we talk about all these muscles, they all play a role in the stability. The levator scapula, the upper traps though, are ones that can usually and most likely be overactivated. And it's usually because our lifestyle causes for our shoulders to round forward in a seated posture, the head forward kind of posture. The two weakest muscles though, which what I'm going to show you is really an exercise progression. Progression meaning something simple, and then we'll work up step by step in order to build more stability in the shoulder. Two weakest muscles we're going to be focusing on are going to be the serratus anterior, which helps adhere the shoulder blade to the mid-back or the thoracic spine, and then we're going to be looking at the lower traps. Trap. So the lower traps are usually one of the weakest and very hard to activate, and that's due to the fact that our upper traps are always so damn overactivated. So let's get into it. So, first one I'm going to show you, the progression is the serratus anterior. So if you've ever seen a bodybuilder bring out and do a nice pose, a lat pose like that, you kind of see a chain link area that goes into your obliques. That chain link is going to be your serratus muscle. So one of the first things that we're going to do is grab a foam roller, and you'll go up against the wall here. You're going to bring your palms out, keep your elbows in, keep the core strong, and you're going to roll up the wall. Now as we do this and you roll up the wall, you'll probably feel as you get up higher and higher and higher, almost like there's some tightness through here, okay? And that could be a lot of lat tightness that you need to work on and loosen up, which will only benefit you. So as we work up the wall though, and Brian, actually, if you can come around here, and I want you to show, so our elbows should stay straight and forward. My right shoulder is a little bit weaker, and I've had issues with it in the past, but if you notice, if I don't try too hard to keep my elbows in, you'll notice how my left one stays in, but my right one starts edging out and rotating in a little bit more. And that's because that serratus is not strong, but I also have a lot of tightness in there as well, okay? So I need to build that serratus muscle up so I don't have that rotation, because that means my shoulder blade is starting to come off my thoracic spine, okay? So I shouldn't say thoracic spine, I'm sorry. It's coming off of my rib cage, okay? So I'm going to move up, push up as high as I can, keeping those elbows in, hold it for a good second, roll it back down. And we'll do this for an allotted number of reps. And once you get up here, it gets pretty damn hard.
That's what she said.
I mean, I'm starting to break a sweat. I've only done 3 reps, but it's a great way to start skyrocketing that serratus anterior stability. Now, this next one that we're gonna go into, and let me grab a mat here, is we're gonna lie down and do a kettlebell punch. So serratus anterior is also known as the puncher's muscle, okay? Because it not only helps adhere the shoulder blade to your rib cage, but it helps with the shoulder blade protracting, meaning coming forward, okay? So let me grab a kettlebell here. Now when we do this, we'll get down, knees bent, low back pushed into the ground to activate that core. We're gonna keep our shoulder down, packed, hold, the kettlebell handle tight, and we're just going to punch forward. Now when we punch, we don't want to be rolling, right? That's why we want the core nice and strong. We want to stay level and push as high as we can. Now as high as we can is important. I don't want to just do simple motions like that. I want to reach for the sky.
Reach for the sky.
What movie? If you list it, I'll give you nothing. I'll give you a like. But anyway, we want to push to the ceiling here, and that's going to help build that up. Now, those two exercises are pretty basic, okay? What we want to go into next here is the actual kettlebell press, okay? And I'm actually going to get a lighter kettlebell for this because this kettlebell press, it requires a lot of strength from your serratus anterior. Nice, cute little 14-pound kettlebell here.
Isn't that cute?
So, what we want to look at now is the actual pressing motion and the stability of the pressing motion. So, if we're going to have our elbows out here, it involves a lot more bigger muscles. So this is a lot of strength pressing. Again, we're going to bring that elbow in and press through there, keeping that elbow straight forward as much as we possibly can. All the way up as far as we can, then we can rotate, lock out, but then rotate it back, keeping it in front. Now you can see those 2 reps were pretty easy. I'll show you on my right side just how much more challenging it will be. Again, my right side being a little bit more a little less stable, a little bit more complex. So I'm pushing, and you can see it already wants to wing out. So I gotta try and keep it straight. Whew. It gets pretty challenging when you get a shoulder that needs a little bit more stability. But I can guarantee you this skyrockets your shoulder health and your scapular stability. We need to start looking now at the lower traps.
Trap, 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 trap.
The lower traps being the weakest muscle usually, and the lower traps help keep that shoulder blade down, okay? Now that's important because it helps keep it in its rightful place from sliding up and out. When it slides up, it allows it to come up here, that's again those upper traps, and bring it up, but you only have a small space, so it can lead to that impingement, right? So in order to start working on your lower traps, a nice easy exercise you can start with are YTAs, or the full kind of progression, but we're just going to go over the Ys. The Ys specifically target your lower traps. So we're going to go face down here.
Face down. Face down.
Activate that core, push the toes into the ground, hands above the head, thumbs facing up, and we're just going to bring them up and hold. Up. Now when we do this, I don't want my head on the ground, and I don't want to extend my head back. I want to chin tuck it. You know, there's nice, beautiful chin tucks that give you a double chin. Check it out, bro. All right, let's get into the next exercise, which is going to be banded Ys. Okay, so let me grab a band real quick. Dab, son. Damn! All right, let's get into it. So, I suggest a lighter band. Just because you want to focus on that feeling of activation, you don't really want it to challenge you to get into that position, okay? And into that position meaning that full overhead flexion of your shoulders. So from here, I'm going to lower my shoulder blades, so activate that lower trap by keeping the core strong, sliding the shoulder blades down, holding that, going up overhead. You see I moved in a little bit more because again, I don't want it to be heavy at all. And I'm just going to So that being the next step from those prone Ys that we just did for the lower traps. This next one is a greatest way to build strength in your lower traps. And one of the less popular motions because I just don't think people know about it. So let's discover this wonderful exercise that God has graced us with. Dab, son. All right, let's get into it. So I suggest a lighter band. Just because you want to focus on that feeling of activation, you don't really want it to challenge you to get into that position, okay? And into that position meaning that full overhead flexion of your shoulders. So from here, I'm going to lower my shoulder blades, so activate that lower trap by keeping the core strong, sliding the shoulder blades down, holding that, going up overhead. You see I moved in a little bit more because again, I don't want it to be heavy at all. And I'm just going to So that being the next step from those prone Ys that we just did for the lower traps. This next one is a greatest way to build strength in your lower traps. And one of the less popular motions because I just don't think people know about it. So let's discover this wonderful exercise that God has graced us with. So, gonna grab a bar, and we're just doing reverse shrugs. So, I'm literally hanging here, letting my shoulder blades slide up, and then I'm just gonna pinch it down and hold it. Now to make this more intense, what I like to do to really get that good contraction is not only bring it down, but I'll extend back a little bit more. Woo! And hold for a good split second, right? So I'm gonna slide down, extend back, hold, back down. Slide, extend back, hold. Oh my God. Making so many lower trap gains.
Trap, 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 trap.
And I know you can too. So I want you guys to check all this out and I'll start applying it because it's one of the best ways to start building that shoulder blade stability that you need in order to protect your shoulder to begin with. So again, give it a go. My name is Dr. Kyle. Check out MVMTmentor.com for online programming, online training, and a whole lot more. Peace.